Welcome back to another episode of Life and Sports Spotlight with Cameron Knox. And today we have a co-host now. I've been kind of actively looking for one. Um, Someone stepped up to the plate. My sister, Kourtnie.
What's happening?
Um, Now I get to actually have real conversations. It's going to be the same concept, you know, college football, NFL. Maybe eventually sprinkle in some other stuff. Well, not other stuff, I guess. NBA.
Like
Um,
NBA, it's
yeah,
NBA season.
eventually.
Got some women's college basketball, male
Yeah,
college basketball, got all
yeah.
that coming
So
up.
we'll sprinkle in some other stuff here and there, but for this episode today, it'll be college football, NFL. But first, since my last episode, we mentioned the Dodgers. They won the World Series. Congratulations to them, us as fans. Um, one
LA
and
up top.
1-5. You know, I joked with my friends and that I was the king of New York for about 2 weeks. Uh, the Steelers beat the Jets and the Giants. Dodgers beat Mets, Yankees, two teams I'm fans of, and New York is my home. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, Freddie Freeman, World Series MVP, dog.
Much
Um,
deserved.
Definitely. But yeah, congrats to the Dodgers. Now kicking into college football. The rankings came out yesterday, 1 through 25, kind of from the college football rankings. But we'll get into 1 through 12, kind of what the new playoff format is. Oregon at one, undefeated Big Ten team.
Yeah.
Um, Georgia, um, SEC, Miami three, ACC, and then Big 12 BYU at four, and then five goes Ohio State, six, Texas, seven, Penn State, eight, Tennessee, nine, Indiana, 10, Notre Dame, 11, Alabama. So, I think with the new first four games is whoever has the higher seed hosts the game. So
Yeah.
it'll be to start it off, it'd be Ohio State hosting Boise State, then Tennessee hosting Indiana, Texas hosting Bama, and then Penn State hosting Notre Dame. Uh, so far, I think those four matchups, Texas,
No,
Alabama would be a good, you know, matchup. Tennessee, Indiana. Um, well, those would be some good matchups. We Boise State gave Oregon problems,
mm-hmm.
two or three, whatever that was.
Yeah, early in the season.
Yeah, and then we know Ohio State and Oregon was a 1 point game, so that could potentially be a good game. Penn State, Notre Dame, in my opinion, those are two, like, obviously good teams, but
It really depends on who you get that. It like they're good teams, but it's like it depends on what team we're gonna get that day.
yeah, Penn State can never beat, they can never knock off the good teams in
Yeah.
their tier at least. Notre Dame is always just a good team, but no conference obviously. So that's what puts them, as a 10th ranked, 10th seeded team. But out of those 12 teams that I mentioned, who kind of surprises you the most?
For sure, BYU.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
BYU's it's a shocker. You know, it's like it's no big names. There's no like There's no star players, so it's like you don't really know. It's hard to game plan against them because it's like it's not like you have like star players or players to watch for. It's just everyone does their job and gets the job done, and that's what makes them successful.
Yeah. And that's, as the season goes on, that's what's scary because, there's no big ego. There's just,
Yeah.
they play as a unit. And I really like BYU for that instance. And, I think not only just BYU, I think the Big 12 in general has just been a whole shock because,
Yeah.
the two best teams are two teams. I mean, Colorado was picked last in their conference and they're second. And BYU,
Yeah.
I can't really remember where they were ranked or like preseason picks, but it was not
It
one.
definitely wasn't number one.
Yeah, it was not one. So that's the shocker of the Big 12. And that's why I never really mentioned this in the past, but that's why I really like the college realignment, the conference realignment, because it becomes new rivalries. It puts other
It's
teams on.
like it's teams that like probably never played before or probably played before in like the 60s or 70s. It's like there's no like tradition behind the rivalry. Like,
Yeah,
it's not no Michigan, Oregon State. I mean Oregon State, Ohio State is no Michigan, Ohio State is no USC, UCLA.
yeah,
It's all new rivals. You
yeah,
never know. BYU, well, obviously they're still gonna have a rivalry with Utah, but BYU can randomly become a rival of Colorado. So it's
yeah,
like it's hard to
exactly.
it's it's like new rivalries are being introduced, and
Yeah,
it's a win lose. It's a pros and cons to the conference realignment.
yeah, definitely. But other than that, I think we'll get into the big games this weekend. Georgia at Ole Miss.
That's
Ole
what I mean.
Miss, Ole Miss fighting for their playoff life to, well, not they're not in it, but they want to stay in the
They want to
conversation.
get it.
Yeah, they want to get in it, and with two losses already to Kentucky and LSU, um, they need a big win against a Georgia team who
Mm-hmm.
kind of play well against them, but they never beat them. And I think this is the perfect team that could beat them. Um,
Three hairs back.
yeah, I was gonna say,
Over.
no Trey Harris, he's doubtful, so more than likely he's not playing. Um, he didn't play last week, and Jackson Dart put up 5, 15, and 6 touchdowns, but
So it's
you know,
like
but that's an Arkansas team, and that's not a knock to Arkansas either because they knocked off
I
Tennessee.
would say didn't Arkansas beat
Yeah,
Tennessee when
yeah,
Tennessee
they're
was
in,
like top five? So
and that's the best thing about the SEC. The bias is annoying as fans of college football,
but it's like
but
you
right
can't
now
deny it.
they're beating up on each other, and that's what's fun.
Hmm.
Vanderbilt is beating
Bama.
Bama. They
They
took
probably haven't beat them
Texas.
in what 50 years. They probably haven't beat them in so long.
They took Texas on the ropes. They beat Auburn last week. Vanderbilt is for sure a top 25 team. I think they're about 24. So yeah,
Yeah.
something in that range. And then Big Ten, they've got 4 teams in there as well: Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana, Penn State. Um, I think I really I think early season after the LSU game, we thought USC could be there. I think it just rocky ship for them.
Yeah. But they made a change at quarterback this week, so we'll see what
Yeah, we'll see him next week against Nebraska at home.
yeah,
That'll
have
be
a have
that'll be a
another
good
try.
game. Um, that'll be a good game, especially because
It's
Nebraska.
homecoming, so homecoming, you got a quarterback that can, I don't want to say, obviously, I don't want to say he's a Caleb Williams because Caleb Williams a Heisman, but he can kind of he can move,
Yeah,
throw, you know Miller Moss. he's been in this.
pocket guy.
Yeah, he's a pocket guy. Been in the system for a while. That's why I feel like he got that nod. But I feel like that quarterback changes was
What's his
necessary.
name? Jaden Mayava.
Jaden,
Yeah,
I don't want to mess up his name, but
yeah, yeah,
Jaden,
something like that.
UNLV transfer.
Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, another big surprise if Miami could lose, possibly, maybe not.
Hey man,
SMU,
they've been on the ropes for a few weeks.
yeah, but SMU, that's
I
another
want to say they're. I want to say they're. I want to say they're a surprise as well.
yeah,
They've been
especially
playing pretty well.
their only loss is surprisingly BYU, and that was actually a game where I saw actually a tweet a couple of days ago where they said those were two teams where it looked like they would be nothing based on the
Yeah,
game that was played because but now they're
but
two
top teams in their
top two
conference.
teams, top 15, two top 15 teams. So yeah. Um then we got Alabama, LSU.
Is that game in Death Valley?
it is. It is. So that
That's
game,
gonna be a tough
LSU,
one.
Ole Miss will tell you. It's not easy,
It's not easy playing in Death Valley at night.
Especially the way Alabama's been playing. Rocky against South Carolina, lost to Vanderbilt, lost to
Georgia.
yeah, they beat Georgia.
Yeah,
Um,
beat.
they lost to Vanderbilt. Oh, Tennessee. They lost to Tennessee. Um, so yeah, the rockiness. I really do like Kalen DeBoer, but I think he just took over a situation too fat, like that type of situation. That's hard. Um, it's gonna be some change eventually. He's gonna get them going, but this is his first. I wouldn't say first big test, but for I guess first big road test. They had
Yeah,
Georgia at home. Tennessee was on the road. Okay, his first LSU test.
but yeah, it's like it's nothing like Death Valley,
Yeah, yeah. So
especially.
I'm really looking forward to that. Jalen Milrow, I think he's gotta be able to make quick decisions. He's kind of like a like improviser, not in a bad way, but he turns the ball over a ton. So I
Mhm.
hope for him to play better um, if they want a shot. Because I think if whoever loses kind of is done as well in the college football playoffs because of LSU's loss to USC, Texas A&M. So that's two losses right there. You get a third loss, you're basically done. So
And it's like those two are like really battling for that last spot.
yeah,
So whoever wins
really,
that game, I feel like should be solidified in that 12th spot, but still a lot of football left.
yeah. And then getting back to the Big 12, the two top teams, two big road tests. BYU at Utah. Utah we thought was going to be the best team in the Big 12. It's not. That was my preseason pick. I thought they'd be having that fourth spot really, but yeah. So BYU, like you mentioned, not really any household names, but they're number 9, and I think
They
if
get
they
it
want to
done.
continue
Hey,
if they want to continue the undefeated, they gotta go play their rivals at Utah, and it's a night game. Uh, Utah has not been really good at night. Lost to Arizona, lost to Arizona, lost to Arizona State and TCU at night. So that's 0-3 at night.
and
Um,
at your place.
yeah, I think two of those three games were at Utah. So I think BYU may not be looking at that, but they could be
Hmm.
because rivalry it brings
A
out the
rivalry can
best.
go either
Yeah,
way.
yeah, it brings out the best out of everybody, especially when you are in the same state. It's different when like
like
Ohio
a Ohio
State,
State or Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah,
Yeah,
different states, but the rivalry's there. But
so you
the
gotta
same
get
state, 45 minutes away. You definitely um, hate them. And then Texas Tech and in Colorado, they as well coming off a bye. Um, but Colorado has looked phenomenal. Two
yeah,
losses only, one in conference to K State, where that game I think they really win if
if
Travis doesn't go
Travis Etienne-
out
yeah,
and Jimmy Horn. Um, yeah, so that game could have gone either way, but Kansas State pulls it out. But we never doubted Travis and Shador. We knew what they could do. It was really everything else around them. And
line, D line. It was really like you said, it
yeah,
was
they've played great. So they've got a good test. Texas Tech last week, beat Iowa State at Iowa State. So that'd be a good game. I look forward to that one. And then really to transition into the NFL, um, trade deadline happened yesterday.
yeah.
We saw a ton of moves, impactful moves, some dump moves, kind of just seeing where things go. But
Yeah, like some good depth moves.
yeah, um, excuse me. I think yesterday there was two winners. I really like the Zadarius Smith move to the Lions with the absence of Aiden Hutchinson, sad injury. He was basically on pace.
Probably defensive player of the
Yeah,
year.
yeah, he had 7 sacks already. Um, and that was in about 5 weeks
It's
or
like
so.
4 or 5 weeks
Yeah,
in. Yeah,
yeah.
seven.
I mean, he had 5 against Baker alone.
Yeah,
So, so that was a good that was a tough loss for the Lions, but Zadarius Smith I think was a huge pickup, and then no bias, but Steelers getting Mike Williams and Preston Smith. All season we thought, you know,
you guys are
Ayuk,
getting yay. Yeah,
Ayuk, then Ayuk became Devontae Adams. Then Devontae Adams became Cooper Kupp, and then we get Mike
it,
Evans.
low key Cooper Cup, low key became DK Metcalf. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah. It became a whole. If you're a receiver, you're going to the Steelers. So
yeah,
so and we didn't even mention the Christian Kirk. It,
oh
it,
yeah,
it
potential
definitely would have been him if he didn't break his collarbone. Um,
for
it
sure.
he would have been a Steeler. But I
Even
like,
Darius Slayton. I mean, it's just a lot of names
yeah,
that
there
was
was a lot of names out there for the Steelers to go get. Adam Thielen.
yeah.
Yeah, so
You
but
finally got
I
that
really,
opposite receiver.
yeah, we finally got him. I like Mike Evans. The injuries are a huge flaw of his game, but when he's healthy, he's a ball. He can go get the ball. I just hope he gels well with Pickens. He opens up Pickens a little more.
Hmm.
Austin, Fryermuth, all those guys. I can't wait to see how that goes. And then the Preston Smith takes a pressure off. Highsmith, Watt, Herbig continuing to hopefully get back in. And then the best thing about him, he can play inside and out. Give even Hayward maybe a little break, or
Yeah.
pair him along with Hayward, pair him along with Watt, pair him along with Highsmith.
You got Robertson there
No,
too. There's a lot of people.
yeah. So I like that pickup, but other than that, Niners did make a debt move, but not much to speak on. But
Yeah.
coming out the bye, what do you think about the Niners?
I feel like the Niners are obviously, it's unfortunate that Brandon Ayuk's out for the season, but you're getting a lot of your guys back. You're getting Christian McCaffrey back. Uh, we're getting Greenlaw back, pretty soon. Obviously not this Sunday because Christian McCaffrey possibly will come back this Sunday, but Greenlaw's coming back in a few days. You got Hugh Funga coming back in a few days. I mean, not a few days, few weeks. Um, Juwan Jennings, he missed the past 2 games. He's coming back. Debo's a little banged up. He had the week to get healthy. So, we got a lot of guys coming back. So I feel like, obviously I have a rough start 4-4, but dealt with a lot of obviously not using it as an excuse, but dealt with a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys are coming back and they should finish the season out strong.
Yeah, that's been a sadly occurring thing with the Niners, but they always seem to get to the
Figure
final
it out.
destination. But yeah, I really like the
Yeah.
situation of both our teams right now. Big weekend, we'll get to it. But we'll start off first with week 10 tomorrow night, Thursday night football. Cincinnati at Baltimore. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with Baltimore that game. Baltimore is the hot hand right now. You got Derrick Henry running out of his mind. Probably offensive player of the year. You
Yeah,
got Lamar Jackson, Action Jackson. It's hard to stop when everyone's gluing like they're glue right now. The only thing about Isaiah Likely, but you also got Mark Andrews. So I feel like Baltimore pulls that game out, but also don't count uh Cincinnati out. The chemistry between Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow always been there since college. It's gonna be a good game. I think Baltimore pulls it out.
yeah. I agree. I wish they could tie or something. Just help the Steelers out in any way possible. But yeah, like you mentioned, Derrick Henry has been phenomenal. Offensive Player of the Year candidate, Lamar MVP candidate, and then Zay Flowers has been playing amazing. The defense is really what kind of scares me, but the pickup of Tre'Davious White, maybe a good change for them. Deontay Johnson to pair along with the Rashad Bateman and Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
They'll probably get him going this week with no Isaiah Likely, maybe different positions, but you know,
You know, just another body out there that can
Todd
catch.
Todd Bach, the offensive coordinator for the Ravens, I think he'll get those guys involved. But yeah, so this kicks off Sunday. Um, Germany game. I'm not sure what the NFL was thinking. But the
Goodness,
Giants,
that's on in Germany.
yeah, Giants in Carolina. Um, Giants coming off a tough loss to the Commanders and Steelers. Carolina coming off a big win against the New Orleans Saints. Recently fired coach Dennis Allen. But
Yeah.
what's your thoughts on that one?
I'm gonna go Giants that game. I feel like Carolina's still trying to figure out what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
They trade Deontay Johnson. You're flip flopping between your quarterbacks of Bryce Young and
Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton. You're flip flopping and you're trying to see what's working, what's not working.
Yeah,
So I feel like they're trying to figure out what their team is. They're trying to figure out their identity.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
feel the Giants aren't playing terrible ball. Their defense is really well. Their defense is really good. It's just trying to figure out their offense. They got a really great running back with not Thomas, Tyrone Tracy,
yeah,
Malik Neighbors. So I think they'll pull that one out.
yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you. Um, but some bright spots for Carolina. Chuba Hubbard played well last week, 2 touchdowns, and then they get the rookie Jonathan Brooks. I think he'll play this week
Yeah, he came
out
back
of
this.
Texas. Yeah,
You got Xavier, like, this.
yeah. They definitely have a bright young talent, including Bryce Young.
Yeah,
So I think
They're really just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and I really like the coach Dave Canales. He really helped Baker last year. So yeah, they're really I think they have pieces of the puzzle. They just need to complete it. But yeah, I'm gonna go Giants. It's really a toss up. I
Yeah,
think both teams
sure.
kind of in that top five pick range. But yeah, I'm gonna go Giants. And then next, New England at Chicago. New England coming off an overtime loss to the Titans, and then Chicago terrible loss against Arizona Cardinals. I know that didn't help your 49ers.
Not at all. Arizona's number one right now.
Yeah,
NFC West. Who would have thought? But at the end of the day, they're all professional football players.
yeah,
But out that matchup, I want to say Chicago. Chicago. I want to say Chicago's another team that's trying to figure out their identity. They have DeAndre Swift, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore. They're really trying to figure out their team. Obviously a big flaw is the O line.
yeah, huge.
So, and then New England, I like New England. Like they're I wouldn't say I like them, but like I wouldn't say they're terrible, like a terrible football team.
Yeah,
Drake is really getting it done the best he can. He's going down. He's not going down without a fight.
yeah,
You're
exactly.
not gonna sweep New England out the water, but I'm gonna go with Chicago that game, but I wouldn't count out New England as well.
Yeah, I agree. Chicago, this is kind of a get right game in that tough NFC North, with the five powers of Green Bay and Minnesota and we all know
Detroit, go
Detroit.
ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they need this game to get over the hump.
Just
It's
to keep
kind
it
of
competitive.
crazy. It's kind of crazy, the way this schedule ironically came out that Chicago or that Caleb Williams got to see Jaden Williams and or Jaden
Daniels
Daniels, excuse me, Jaden Daniels, and then Drake May 2 weeks
back to back
later.
week. Well, not back to back.
Yeah, 2 weeks later. Yeah, yeah, after the Kyler Murray game. But yeah. So Daniels got the best of the first matchup. I want to see Williams outperform May. He's got to get going. I think I really like Chicago. They have the offense,
Yeah.
or they have the talent. I really don't like the play
And you
caller.
got Cole up there and tight end. Like they have pieces.
Yeah, they have Cole Komet.
It's
Yeah,
just
Cole Komet, Roma
it's like
Dixon.
it's
Yeah,
just it's really that O line keeping Caleb Williams on his feet.
yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Chicago on that one for sure. Then the next matchup, Buffalo at Indiana. Buffalo coming off a big division win against the Dolphins. Indiana coming off a Sunday night loss to Minnesota.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Buffalo. Josh Allen's been playing MVP type football. Uh, the only thing about I would say about this matchup, you're not gonna know what weapons he have out there due to the injuries of Amari Cooper and Keon Coleman.
Yeah,
But you also have Dalton out there. You also have Dawson Knox.
here
Shakir.
Matt Collins. Yeah,
Yeah. So you
James
know.
Cook. The running backs
Yeah.
also.
Oh yeah, of
Yeah,
course, James Cook. How could I forget? It's like they can get it done even without two big body receivers out there.
yeah, for sure.
And then Indiana, I mean not Indiana, Indianapolis.
Yeah,
They have Joe Flacco. They're trying to figure out their identity as well. Unfortunately, Anthony Richardson was playing bad ball, so they had to bring in Joe Flacco. But
yeah,
I said Buffalo gets it done.
yeah. I'm gonna agree only because I think the way that offense is really set up was perfect for Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Jalen Hurts, but that's where he was. The head coach was at former. I think they play similar, so I think that was perfect. for him, but I
And it's
think
not like they don't have pieces out there. You know,
yeah,
you
you
got
know, Josh Downs,
Nikhil
Michael
out there,
Pittman,
Josh Downs,
yeah,
Michael Pittman. You know, you got a great running back in Jonathan Taylor. It's
yeah,
all if the quarterback can get you the ball
yeah,
or you execute.
and you know, I've been seeing a lot of backlash, you know, from Anthony Richardson, and it sucks because you know he was picked fifth, but I think he's really just like a project that they need more time to work with, and I think Joe Flacco is the perfect guy to kind of throw in right now because you know I just don't think Richardson's ready. And then back to Buffalo, Josh Allen when he's not turning over the ball and scoring touchdowns, that's winning football for Buffalo. And Buffalo creates turnovers, and you know that's a good defense with a defensive head coach. So when they're playing lights out offense and
Just,
defense that
just get that
produce
momentum and run.
turnovers, it's perfect, and that's winning football. So yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo as well. Next is Denver at Kansas City. Denver, I'm not sure who they played last. I'd have to check really quick. Last week, Denver played. Oh, how could I forget? They got blown out by Baltimore. That's
Oh
right.
yeah.
Yeah, they got blown out by Baltimore. Yeah. So, and then Kansas City Monday night against Tampa Bay overtime win. Um, what do you think about that one?
It's a in division game. Where's that game? Arrowhead?
At Arrowhead, yes.
At Arrowhead division game. I mean, how can you not pick Kansas City? But also it's something in me that's I think this is a trap game.
Yeah. You
You
know,
know, I wanted I me personally, I like Denver's defense. Denver's
yeah,
defense
it
is really
really
good.
they really took me for shock because coming into this season, I said they were a terrible defense and their only bright spot was Patrick Surtain, but that has really flipped a switch and they're a top five defense. So
I
uh,
think their defense is real. They're like their defense is legit. But
yeah,
it's like at the end of the day, it's Patrick Mahomes, man.
yeah,
It's like it can't be denied. But also, I like Denver's defense, but I feel like I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. It 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 really depends on how Denver get the offense going. But
yeah,
I can't see Kansas City walking them down.
yeah. And Bo Nix has really been a bright spot. You know, I think he's the only quarterback this season with a rushing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and passing touchdown. So,
Yeah,
and then also
that
a little,
offense gets tricky.
yeah, that I think that's a lot of their touchdowns, really trick plays or their big plays. And then another keynote, last Kansas City loss was at home against
To
a
them.
division rival, the Raiders on
Oh,
Christmas
Oakland
Day.
Raiders, yeah.
Yeah,
Oakland, Las Vegas
yeah,
Raiders.
yeah, on Christmas Day last year. So, you know, Kansas City hasn't lost since then, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Denver knocked them down, but I'm gonna have to go against Denver. I'm gonna say Kansas City.
I'm gonna say Kansas City, but I pray Denver wins.
Yeah, me too. Then we got another division game, Atlanta, coming off a big win against the Cowboys,
Yes,
and
sir.
then New Orleans coming off a loss to Carolina. Games in New Orleans.
Games in New Orleans. I'm gonna go Atlanta that game. Atlanta's playing unbelievable football right now.
Yeah,
You know, Kirk Cousins got it going. He's not turning the ball over as much. The only thing that I would really keep my eye out on is Drake London and that hip injury. But I
yeah,
believe he plays. But also, Kyle Pitts is getting he's getting some targets this year. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go Atlanta with that game, but also it's New Orleans. They traded away one of their big pieces in the defense with Marshawn Lattimore, and you don't know what type of game they're gonna really run due to like their coach getting fired.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say Atlanta. I like Atlanta. They're having a really good year. I think they win that conference, that division as well.
Yeah. I think it was going to go down to the wire, if Tampa Bay was healthy, but you know, Atlanta has now knocked them out both games, so they have the upper hand. And yeah, I agree with you. Atlanta, I think like you mentioned, Kyle Pitts has getting more targets, but he's just inconsistent. I would love to see him used more, especially because um, I would like to see Drake London not play so I could see some more of Kyle Pitts, especially against New Orleans. I wouldn't put London out there. Just give him an extra week to, especially the way Darnell
I'm
Mooney
gonna
has
say
been playing.
Darnell Moody's been
Yeah,
playing out of his mind.
especially the way he's been playing.
I
And McLeod,
even he came from my team, but Ray McLeod's been playing.
yeah,
He's been playing well.
yeah.
So they
So
could be without London, but also as a football player, you're gonna wanna
you
you're
want
gonna
to
wanna
play?
play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Also, New Orleans side, Chris Olave is not playing.
Yeah,
That's a big out for them. But at the end of the day, you got AK Alvin Kamara,
Taysom Hill.
Taysom
Yeah,
Hill, Javon Johnson. But I got to win in that game.
yeah. I got Atlanta as well. Um, then we got another um NFC South matchup, but this time it's your Niners at Tampa Bay.
I'm gonna say Niners. We have Christian McCaffrey coming back, uh, offensive player of the year. We got Christian McCaffrey coming back, Juwan Jennings coming back, Debo, of course. It's gonna be a good game. Uh, Buccaneers have a little have an injury, little bug going on around there.
Yeah,
But Niners defense been playing well. Like you mentioned earlier, Aiden Hutchinson had what 5 sacks on Baker. We got Nick Bosa. Nick Bosa might have a good game. Um, I got Niners in that game. It's gonna be a good game.
yeah. I agree. Um, Niners, close division. Same with the Tampa Bay Bucks, but I think the Niners have the better edge in that race to try to win the NFC West. So I really like them. They're gonna have to get after Baker, especially with the no really targets out there, especially only Cade Otton really, and Nick Bosa had he's having a great week. We
Hey
won't we
man,
won't mention why, but
he's having a great week. He also leads the league in pressures right now. Obviously you can't get home every play, but he
yeah,
leads the league in pressures.
yeah,
So this is gonna be a good game.
it's gonna be a
We
fun
gotta
matchup,
stop that run.
especially two teams dying for a win.
Yeah,
It's gonna
just
be
trying to just trying to keep your head above water, especially in the NFC.
yeah, especially. Um, then we got Pittsburgh at Washington. Pittsburgh coming off a bye, and then Washington coming off a win against the Giants.
At Washington. Oh man, this is a very. I'm gonna go.
6-2 versus 7-2.
I'm gonna go Pittsburgh in this game. I'm gonna tell you why I go Pittsburgh. I'm
Okay.
gonna go Pittsburgh in this game because I want it. Their offense is. You haven't seen Pittsburgh offense like this since what Big Ben.
Yeah.
So their offense is really clicking right now. Najee Harris is 3 straight games, 100 yards. You know, can't deny George Pickens.
Yeah.
He's playing well. Not sure if Mike Evans is gonna play, but also Calvin Austin's playing well. Pat Pat he's playing well.
Yeah,
But also you guys defense top five,
yeah,
playing lights out right now. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna come down to the wire. But I
definitely.
feel like the inexperience, I want to say the inexperience, but the youth of Washington is gonna show a little. And I got Pittsburgh in that one.
Yeah, obviously, I'll roll with them too. There's a stat out there. I don't know it much, but I know it is it's a what's the word? A reputation of how Mike Tomlin plays against rookie quarterbacks.
Mhm.
He's historically really good. You know, just this year alone, we beat Bo Nix. He didn't play that well of a game. But Jaden Daniels is a top is
The
he's
league.
second pick. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um he's played well, really well, against a really good offense that complements him and his game. Um yeah, I like the Steelers. I hope, like you said, the youth of the Commanders really just it's just not enough for them to win the game. So yeah, a lot of road matchups early for the Steelers. Hopefully sets us up for some better matchups at home down the
Yeah,
road.
some home games
Um,
down the road. Hopefully in the playoffs, get that AFC North win.
the worst part about it is we have not played an AFC North game yet, and it's week 10. We still got the Ravens
You
twice,
got Ravens
the
twice,
Ravens
Baltimore
twice,
twice. I mean, you got
Ravens,
Ravens twice,
Bengals,
Cleveland
and
twice, Bengals twice. It's gonna come down to the wire
yeah,
in that
yeah.
AFC North.
So I really like that matchup, but I'm going Steelers. Then we got Minnesota coming off a good win against the Colts Sunday night, and then Jacksonville coming off a really, really good game against the Eagles. And
Yes, sir.
at first, we thought,
Even
Eagles were
we
going to
might
kind
have.
of run away with that one, but Jacksonville showed up and kind of put some pressure on. What you think about Minnesota at Jacksonville?
That's a really tough matchup. Only because I'll say that because it's like at the end of the day, you got Justin Jefferson, but then
Yeah,
also I feel like Sam Darnold isn't playing as well as he was in the first 5 games.
yeah, 5-0.
Uh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Minnesota in that game only because that defense, man, that defensive scheme and the defense that they run is pretty good. But it also depends on how well Sam Darnold plays.
Yeah,
Um,
I think Jacksonville's a little banged up. I know
yeah,
Gabe
Brian
Davis didn't
Thomas.
play last
Brian
week.
Thomas
Brian
has an
Thomas is
injury.
dealing, yeah, with something. Christian Kirk obviously out for the year.
Yeah,
Um,
Minnesota.
Travis Etienne, I think was back last week or can't remember, but they're dealing with a lot of injuries. But
Their defense is pretty good too.
yeah, Hines Allen Walker has been playing really well. Cisco, yeah, I really like them. But
I'm gonna go Minnesota that one.
I think I'm gonna go. I think I'm gonna go Jacksonville. I think Trevor got paid huge
Yeah,
contract, huge contract. He hasn't played up to it, and I think this game could be a bright spot for him. Um,
it's gonna be a big win for him.
yeah,
To-
this will be a big win. Especially in the AFC South, where kind of only Houston is a team because the Colts is kind of right now just a team, like you mentioned earlier, trying to find what they want to do with the identity of the team with Joe Flacco now. So I think if Jacksonville wins this game, it gives them a little boost, kind of like what the Jets had last week,
Mhm.
getting a good win against a really good team. So I'm gonna go Jacksonville. I think there's a chance they could knock off the
Yeah.
Vikings. Um, then going into the one o'clock games. We got Tennessee, like we mentioned, coming off an overtime win against the New England, and then we got the Chargers at home. I can't remember who they played. Was it?
Chargers last week. I want to say it was it was one of those. It was a blowout game.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was the Browns. The Browns.
Yeah, blowout
Yeah.
game.
Um. Yeah. So what you think about that one?
What was it again? Chargers who? Tennessee.
Titans. Yeah.
Who started? Mason. Mason Rudolph.
I think so.
Yeah.
More than likely, yeah.
I wanna. I like LA in that team. I like LA in that game.
Yeah.
You know Herbert. You know Herbert's gonna Herbert.
He's been
You
dead.
know he's obviously he hasn't had what a big name receiver in a long time. He had Keenan Allen, of course.
Yeah.
He's the type of guy where he's been throwing to different receivers all of his career.
Yeah.
It's not like, and then you got Gus Edwards back, J.K. Dobbins playing phenomenal. I like Chargers in that game. Tennessee's one of those teams where they don't know if they want to win or if they want to lose.
Yeah.
They're in between of like, do we want to swim or tank?
Yeah.
So I feel like this game will be a test for Tennessee because if they win, they're like, okay, we're gonna win. If we lose, then it's like, okay, let's just prepare for next season. Let's get a good pick and let's
Yeah.
roll. But I got Chargers in that game.
Yeah, I'm agree. The defense has been playing well. I think they picked off Jameis last week 3 times.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, Lad McConkey has been playing phenomenal, just being that guy for Herbert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. I don't see any way Tennessee attempts to win this game.
Yeah.
They won last week against New England. I
But it's
don't
New
think
England,
they need to win again for a while, especially the way they're going. Yeah. Then we got another pretty good game. Uh, Only because it's a division, but Philadelphia at Dallas. Philadelphia, like we mentioned, coming off against the Jacksonville win, and then Dallas lost to Atlanta.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna go Philly in that game only because Dak is out towards hamstring.
Yeah.
You don't. I don't really, honestly. I don't see CD playing. He messed up his shoulder. I don't really see him going out there with Cooper Rush. The Cowboys, they're one of those teams I feel like they're trying to figure out their identity as well. They don't really have a run game. You only have CD out there. Now it's like Dak's hurt.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley's playing out of his mind.
Yeah, there's a lot of
But again, it's a rivalry game. Like they both hate each other. So it's like no knock to Cooper Rush, but I mean not no knock to Cooper Rush, but Cooper Rush beat Philly before.
Yeah.
So I mean anything is possible. Even I would say Philly though. They're playing really well right now. Also, AJ Brown may or may not play, but Smitty's been playing well as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm agree again. I think Philly's biggest issue and what's holding them back is Nick Sirianni. I
Yeah.
think your head coach alone is what's holding this team back. They have everything you could think of. They have 2 wide receiver 1s. They have one of the best top 3 running back in the NFL. A top 10 or 5, depending on who
They're asking.
Yeah, you're asking
Right.
in the quarterback room. So
You got a great line.
yeah, Philly's really really good. The defense is under a old school Vic Fangio, and I really like the Philly team. but like I mentioned, it's just Nick Sirianni. I think he thinks too much. Like I think he should just go out and just coach a game. He's
Yeah,
like, oh, we are so successful with the tush push. We need to do the tush push. Like,
but
yeah,
it's like
but
it's a predictable offense.
yeah, yeah,
Like, obviously, it's successful, yes, but it's very predictable.
yeah,
Like
and
if it's not going to Saquon, it's going to AJ. It's not going to AJ. It's going to Devontae. And it's like you have a big body tight end. Like
yeah, but he's been out. I think he
yeah,
should be back
he should be
maybe
back this
this
week.
game. Who knows? But yeah, but a lot of things has been going on with that team. I think three different OCs for Jalen Hurts in 3 years with,
Yeah,
like I mentioned, Shane Steichen. Then they had Brian Johnson, I think that was
yeah.
his name, and then now it's Kellen Moore. So that's three guys right there. But I think he's adjusted every year to it. So I didn't mention Dallas. I think Micah Parsons will probably be back.
Yeah.
That's a big get, but the
He's
offense is
supposed to be a
getting it.
Philly fan.
Yeah, it really sucks still for the offense of Dallas. Okay, uh, three more matchups. We got Jets coming off a big Thursday night game
A much needed win.
against the Texans, and then at Arizona. Um, Arizona coming off the Bears win, number one in the NFC West.
Uh, I'm gonna go Jets. I'm gonna go Jets in that game because I feel like they're figuring it out. They're you got Tay, Garrett Wilson. They're starting to figure out their offense. It really depends on how Aaron plays.
Yeah,
Um, Arizona, they're playing they're playing pretty good football right now. So I'm gonna go Jets that game.
yeah. So a couple weeks ago, I told myself I wasn't gonna go Jets until they won a game. They got the win against a banged up team. Uh,
A banged up Houston team.
yeah. So now I'm put in the predicament if that game was,
If they were healthy, they wouldn't win that. If
yeah,
Houston was healthy, they probably would not win that game.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's a legit win. Like, obviously they won, no doubt. And Devontae comes back. He got hurt, come back, score a touchdown to
It
really
was a
seal
bit of a
the
yawner. It
game.
was a bit of a yawner in the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. But I I think I'm gonna go Jets as well, only because
I need Arizona to lose.
yeah, that for you, and then really it's because I like the growth of the team. Brees Hall, I think they really need to get him going more. It can't be
It
all.
can't be
It
like it
can't.
can't be like how it is in Detroit, where one series, Gibbs get a series, then one series Montgomery. I obviously no knock
Yeah,
to Allen, but he's no Brees Hall.
yeah, and it can't be all on your 40-year-old quarterback to throw the ball 35 plus times
Yeah,
to
you got to
Garrett
get that run
Wilson.
game going.
Yeah, I think they need to. And even though their offensive line isn't good, Brees Hall makes them look relatively well enough.
Yeah,
Um, in Arizona, good win. Kyler has been playing really well. I'd love to see Harrison Jr. get involved a ton
ball.
more because
Yeah,
it's just like the Kyler Murray run show and the
and
Connor
Trey
winning
McBride.
somebody over show, and yeah, and then the Trey McBride. So I would love to see Harrison get more involved. Um, I don't know if Dortch is still there. I think I just don't know if he's healthy.
It'll
I,
be a
I
good
don't know.
matchup with Harrison and Sauce. We'll see.
Soft, yeah, yeah, for sure. And then Wilson's a Mac Wilson. Is that his name? I think he's pretty good too. I
Yeah,
I like the game. Probably that would be a good game. Um, but yeah, Jets. And then Sunday night football. This one's gonna be a good one. I think if both healthy teams. It'll be a really good game. But Detroit at Houston. Detroit coming off the big win in division against the Packers, and then Houston coming off the Jets loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Detroit. Me personally, I think Detroit's the team to beat this year. They're really good.
Mhm.
Although they're missing Aiden, you get Smith in the trade. That's gonna that's gonna help them as well. I like Detroit. They're the team to beat. You know, CJ Stroud's having a little bit of a sophomore slump, only only because, and then it's like you don't have Nico out there, you don't have Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell isn't what he
The
appeared to
second
be
year
from
too,
his
yeah,
sophomore slump as well. I got Detroit in that game, but yeah, Houston's just not having Houston. They're not. I wouldn't say figuring it out, but Houston is just like they're not healthy.
yeah.
It's hard. It's just hard when you're not
Hard to
healthy.
win when you're not healthy, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I'm agree. Detroit looking like the superpower team that they've had last year, and then the
Mhm.
ending of the year before. This is all in the making. They've been revving up for this moment, and
In
they're
all
out.
honesty, they could have been in the bowl next last year.
Yeah, like I said, like they have blood in their eyes. They know what they missed out on last year, and yeah, Houston, like you mentioned, CJ Stroud not without many targets, and he's looked um, rough, but
Mhm.
that's how sadly the NFL works with the injuries. But yeah, Detroit nasty defense. Brian Branch is
Yeah, he's a
another,
head honey.
yeah. Kirby Joseph. Um, yeah,
Got him a
that's
pick
a
six
really
last
good
year. Yeah,
defense mixed with the firepower offense, and those two together,
like an unpredictable offense. You don't
yeah,
know.
you never know, and that's the worst part because they have Amon Ra. Sam Laporta has not been as um productive, but when they get him going, he's nasty too. They will get Jamison Williams back too.
Oh yeah,
Um, and then Gibbs and Montgomery is like what they call
some people
themselves,
say,
Knuckles and Sonic.
yeah. So
That's not
they're
who
gonna
I
be a
would want to play. But yeah, for that matchup, we're gonna go Detroit. Then Monday night to end off Week 10, the Dolphins coming off the loss to the Bills, and then Rams coming off. No, who they
They're
beat?
coming off that. They're coming off that win against
Seattle
Seattle.
overtime. Yep, yep, yep.
But oh man, I'm a Rams hater.
Yeah,
I don't hide it. I'm gonna go Dolphins, but I would love to see Waddle get more involved in that offense.
me too. Me too.
Want to want to see Tyreek Hill, get you know Tyreek wasn't voted number one in the NFC. I'm at the NFL list for no reason.
Yeah,
You got to get him the ball. At the end of the day, you got to get him the ball. Don't matter who's the running back is. You got to get Tyreek the ball.
quarterback. Yeah,
You paid Waddle this offseason. It's like you did these things. You gotta show for it. You like when Tyreek was traded to the Dolphins, we thought like the Dolphins were going to be like a scary team. They
hmm
have not scared anyone yet.
yeah,
The only thing that's scary about that team is Tua's concussions.
yeah,
So it's like you at some point, something's got to happen. But also, you got Matt Stafford. He Matt Stafford's almost like an old reliable. Like he's always gonna ball, you know. So I'm gonna go Dolphins in that game, but I would like to see Waddle and Hill get the ball
yeah.
because
Um,
Rams secondary is not that good.
yeah. I'm gonna agree. And not in on your pick. I'm not agreeing on your pick, but I'm agreeing with them having to get their guys the ball because Tua, this is I think well last week was his second game back, so it's going to take a little more getting used to back having your quarterback. But this is the game, a perfect game to get a guy back because, like you mentioned, the Rams defense is still like a missing thing, like a
Yeah.
ongoing thing.
Ever
That's
since Ramsey, ever since Ramsey went
yeah.
over to the
Ever since
Dolphins, it's
Ramsey
like
left,
they
ever
really
since
haven't had like a
Donald left, they traded away
yeah.
the best linebacker, and they're a young defense. Um, I personally think this game is about to be a shootout,
Oh yeah, for sure.
and with the experience of Matt Stafford, I think the Rams win. I know that's not good for you,
Yeah.
but I just like Cooper Cup, Puka Nakua, and Kyron Williams. That that trio right there of the skills put
Mhm.
along with Stafford, it's
And it's like
nasty. And
if Waddle and Hill got like the production we think, it
yeah,
will be like it would be like two three-headed snakes going against each other.
yeah,
But it's
exactly.
really like
And
you
I
gotta
think
give him the ball to
if those three forces come together, it'll be perfect because the Dolphins do have a run game with A Chain
yeah.
and Mostert. If that's nasty, that's something like you mentioned. I think Miami could pull it off.
It all
Um,
depends on
it
what plays
really
they
just
call.
depends on how how Tyreek if his explosiveness offensively from the play calling comes in.
Mhm.
And yeah. So teams on buys are Cleveland. They really need it.
Yeah,
Because,
they gotta figure it out.
yeah. And then Green Bay coming off the loss. Vegas, they really need it. And then Seattle, DK's knee.
Get
It's
him
a
a
big, yeah. But a bright spot for Seattle, Smith Najigba had a huge game, and I really like him. Um, Seattle has a really good future with him. I'm not
Mhm.
sure with the quarterback position. I know they're probably going to have to look at that soon. Because Gino, he's playing phenomenal, but Gino's like 36 or something,
Yeah,
35,
yeah.
34, 30, mid 30s, we'll
Oh
say.
yeah.
Vegas is going to look quarterback
So
for
they
sure.
had some
Maybe even a
offensive
head
hires
coach.
today.
Yeah, yep, they did. They went through, fired Luke Getzey. Um, yeah, those three teams right there really needed a bye, or four teams, but Green Bay has been playing really well. But the three of the four teams really needed that bye. Um, Seattle really,
They need that body to get healthy.
yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. And then Cleveland and Vegas
Cleveland is just
need a
in
bye.
that. Cleveland's been the same old Cleveland for years.
Yeah, yeah. And then Vegas, they have a ton of stuff just going on,
Yeah,
trading away their best
they're
players.
trying to figure out their they're flipping back and forth with quarterbacks, like what we said about the
Yeah,
Panthers. So
Panthers. Yeah,
you trade away your wide receiver one. It's like they get Shador.
Shador or yeah, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of. What do you think about Cam Ward to the Giants?
I like it, but it's like
Yeah, that's
you
the
paid
worst part
him.
about it. But I think they're gonna have to bite the bullet. Same with Cleveland. I think they're just gonna have to take the L. It's not as bad as a loss as the Giants. Definitely 160 for 4 years, but the fully
It's like you tear
guaranteed
your
that
ACL,
Cleveland,
you're playing bad.
yeah, the fully guaranteed that Cleveland did were just
Just crazy.
awful. Yeah, and it's biting them back right now. But yeah, that's the NFL. We're gonna wrap up this episode. welcome our new co-host with open arms, and we'll continue to roll out episodes weekly, and we'll see you guys next week. Uh, Another episode of Life and Sports Spotlight with Cameron Knox, co-host Kourtnie Knox. See you guys next week.